And then there has to be a willingness to adhere to respectful boundaries. Almost like get on the witness stand. I solemnly swear to adhere to the protective boundaries that respect you, that respect I, that respects everyone involved. I will not steal. I will not violate personal property. I will not sexually assault anyone. I will not verbally or physically assault anyone. And if I do and it's brought to my attention, I will acknowledge the trespass and get back in line. You have to be willing to adhere to the boundaries, because boundaries keep the system guarded. It protects the members of the unit. Everyone needs to feel safe, and everyone gets to feel safe. That is a goal that is a mutual benefiting for everyone involved. So the peace strategy, and AKA reconciliation plan strategy, is that you have to be strategic. Remember, we talked about by the time we get people here, we don't want to play here, we don't want to wing it, we don't want to be disorganized, but we have to have some prefrontal cortex working. We have to know that this has to be planned. Yes, we're bringing our feelings to the table, but our feelings are not going to lead this reconciliation process. We need our spirituality, which is our prefrontal cortex functioning of the brain, and we need to be able to plan, control our impulses, see the future, and be rational, right? And be fair. So that's going to take planning, not just showing up all willy-nilly and having a conversation that leads back to 1970 to 1960 to 2000. No, strategically, it's going to take pre-planning. How can we keep this family? What do I need to keep this family safe? What do you need to keep this family safe? What has to happen? What do we need? Like, what were the boundaries that were broken? So in the design process, you answer the A, the who's going to be a part of it, the planning and the designing. Who's going to be part of it? Who's mature? Everyone's not mature. Some people are just emotionally dysregulated. Some people are on drugs. Some people are too angry, and it's going to take them a while. They may have to see forgiveness and reconciliation modeled before they get on board. So who is mature? Who can make the meeting productive? You may have to have sub meetings. Like when this person gets with this person, they kind of get together and they feed off of each other, and they bring a lot of negativity to it. But alone, they're okay. So you might have to do some splitting. It takes someone, hopefully it's the elders. Sometimes it's the youngers, because that's just the way it is. But hopefully in planning, it's going to be the person, I guess, who is most mature and who has the most knowledge of how to get together. And so you may have to have micro meetings before you have larger meetings, and do that assessment and be honest and let everybody know that you do plan to touch bases with, either the heads of the family or the family, but you want to be strategic, right? And you want to find the people who can be helpful and not people who are just going to drag the process, make it negative, vent and bring up new issues, right? And so that leads to the next one. You have to decide, B, what are the issues? What are we going to discuss? Are we going to get, really detailed and petty, or are we going to do general themes of how, how are we going to be safe? Who was disrespected? Who had the injury? What are we going to discuss? We're just not going to vent. Is this going to be a venting session? No, it's not. It's going to be a planning and a restoration process. So that has to be very important, that we don't bring up new issues, but that we go back to what the violation was. It can even be formatted where people write down what their issues are. And this can be written down in the form of the molestation, the betrayal. This is the issue. How can we keep people safe? How can we keep people to be loyal to their word and be responsible when they say they're going to do something. So again, C is going to be when. We don't have meetings late because at night, because our amygdala is overactive, we're oversensitive, we're spent. It's just different things change and we're unable to control ourselves, and we're more stimulated at night. So these type of meetings are best in the morning after a good night's sleep, and I've seen it work best. So be very strategic on when. If someone's sick, that's not a win. If someone's mourning or if there's something traumatic, That's an emotional vulnerability. They won't be in their prefrontal cortex. They may be exasperated with an emotional experience. So we have to wait until they're good. And then we want to make sure it is definitely in the morning or midday. The longer the day goes on, we lose ground. So these are morning type of structures. We're our best in the morning. And then where, this is important, like where are we going to begin the process of reconciliation? Not on the phone, not through text. I know in the pandemic, we had to communicate that way, but in person is best. In person is best because you get to really see the facial cues and you get to feel the spirit and the love, and it just changes things. Even if someone is speaking, you get to feel what they're feeling, because we're all interconnected. The law of entanglement in relationships, we can feel that. So we want to have in these serious planning and restoration and reconciliation, when we come to the table, we need to come, we need to be able to feel each other. And then it needs to be a neutral environment, not a place that's triggering, not a place where the person you feel is in control is having it at their house and it's home court advantage, kind of like with the sports, home court advantage. People don't like home court advantage because it's home court advantage. You want to go to a neutral place, and that neutral place may also be therapy. It may be church, and it may be a trusted, mature person's home who's neutral, where you feel like this is neutral ground. We all get along with this person. This person is not really directly involved in the issue, and they're fair. And how, we talked about that, like, how do we do it? I've been giving you dropping little hints to that. It is deciding what we want that's feasible and what the mission statement is. Because if we go outside of the mission statement, then we get to reroute it. We need direction so that it doesn't go 50 places. The purpose of the reconciliation is to acknowledge the breach and to find a strategy for us to keep each other safe. That's a mission statement, and you get to decide it. We get to decide how we're going to keep people safe from molestation, safe from abuse or physical abuse, verbal abuse, whatever it is coming together with a mission statement. How are we going to keep the family together? How are we going to plan events to keep the family together? On those notes, that's the how. So in the action steps to reconciliation, after you plan it, then in the actual, at the table, what has to happen is you're going to process the emotions. Now, we don't want to drag it out, but we want to be transparent, because sometimes all the time and at the table, people need to feel the impact. There needs to be vulnerability, because we have an idea of what people think and feel, but no one expresses their emotions like the person who's experiencing that. And it allows us to re-enter into their world. So that is the first step in rejoining, is re-experiencing someone's world, their vulnerabilities, their needs, their ideas, how they felt, what kept them up. So this is a place to know that you may need some tissue, and you may need some to be able to emotionally contain yourself so that you can emotionally contain the environment. It's going to be triggering and it's going to be emotional. Just expect that. And so then you're going to want to have some personal accountability. And this has to be a safe place, you all. All of the things I'm saying is the healing place. The reconciliation table is a sacred place where we create an environment similar to the environment that God created for Adam and Eve, of peace and not of attacking, but of safety and love and acceptance. Because if there's love and then there's acceptance, there's safety. And then you can take personal accountability. You can let down your armor of defense and just take accountability and be honest. I never felt good enough. I felt left out. I was molested, and that's why I did that, or that's why I turned the other cheek when this person molested that person, because I didn't want to deal with it, because it triggered my feelings of vulnerability. And just allowing each other to hold space and to share the pain connected to the incident and taking accountability. Nothing creates safety like accountability. Because when people are denying it, then you don't feel safe, because you think they'll do it again because they don't see it. But if they see it and acknowledge it, then I can be safe.